Yo, what's up? And we are live. Thank you for joining the stream. Please subscribe and like. You know what I mean? We are also live on Bigo here. Turn that light on so you guys can see me a little bit better. I'm Don. Thank you for joining Sports Shorts and Passports today. So, what we will be discussing will be the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox opening day of 2024 for MLB, which, like, honestly, should be pretty interesting, right? For two separate reasons. The Cubs are going to be pretty good, and the White Sox are going to be pretty bad. So that'll be, something to watch, I think, going forward this year. I wouldn't expect too much from the Cubs opening up this year, though, because Texas is a really good team. They won the World Series last year. They're not slouches by any imagination. And honestly, the Cubs really didn't spend no money. And I know that's like a big faux pas, as I've seen that the Cubs are in the top 10 or top 15 of MLB spending, but they still kind of spent like or operated like a small market team. I mean, they paid their manager a lot, but they did not really like pour resources into the on the field product. I mean, they retained Cody Bellinger, which is a smart move, but like other than that, you signed Shota Imanaga and they traded for Michael Bush, which is a unproven first baseman. And Shota Imanaga is an unproven left-hander from Korea, Japan, like from the KBO. So it'll be interesting because the only real change from last year is Imanaga replacing Marcus Stroman, and then really probably the biggest change is changing managers, right? Like Craig Counsell is far and ahead, like much better than David Ross. David Ross was an idiot. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like this channel is not gonna sugarcoat anything. This channel is gonna be real. And David Ross was a fucking idiot, like just flat out dumb. So glad he's gone. There was some stuff about just like the season was just terrible. Like he would not take people out, or he left Ian Happ in the 3-hole, even though he was clearly like not that. So basically, the big difference this year is the Cubs are going to do the same thing they did last year, except for have more competent management, which let's see if that brings about a big change, right? I think this first game and I think also Justin Steele as the Cubs ace is scheduled for some regression. Like there's just no way we can expect him to be as good as the years before, especially with everybody having like more and more tape on him. You know what I'm saying? So expect Justin Steele to kind of take a step back as far as how good he looked last year, right? Yeah, I know I got ATL Wood hat on from Chicago though. Sue me. So yeah, like expect that, I would say. The other things to watch, I would say, for this MLB opening day is the White Sox are going to start Garrett Crochet, who was a reliever before, and now he's a left-hand starter. People are saying something. That's a different platform. Bigo. I'm doing Bigo Live and YouTube at the same time. So like Garrett Crochet never pitched more than 60 innings in his career in the season. That's what he's going to do to today, starting today. Basically, is they want to basically get him up to being ramped up to throw 80 pitches a game, and um, I don't know, like maybe 5 or 4 innings per game, and who knows, 20 games. I look, they have not been forthcoming with the plan for Garrett Crochet, which is understandable because I think if we hear the plan, we're gonna be able to be like, that's fucking stupid, basically. And I think that's why they don't want to say anything. And then also, if it doesn't work or if they have to pivot, I don't think they want to be called out on it. This is just like Chris Getz. He's the new White Sox GM. He's going to be secretive about a lot of stuff. I think it also puts them at a competitive disadvantage if they reveal too much about how they're going to use Crochet, right? But I think all of MLB should know that this guy's coming off Tommy John surgery. Like, he should not be pitching much more than, say, whatever innings, like, right? Let me see if I can get you guys eye contact better over here on Bigo. I think that's a little better. Let's put it right behind my computer. But yeah, I think he's gonna, I think Gary Crochet is gonna pitch maybe 100 innings this year if healthy. Like, best case scenario, Gary Crochet throws 100 innings. It's a good season for him. He comes back next year and he's ready to throw 150. Worst case scenario, elbow breaks down and he can't, and maybe somewhere in the middle happens, right? Where they're like, these are too many innings we're pitching you. We'll throw you back in the bullpen in the year, and we'll bring up one of our kids. But yeah, it should be interesting to see Garrett Crochet versus the Braves because he's a power pitcher and they are really good hitters. So may the best man win, and hopefully the Sox plan will work for them. I see them losing at least about 100 games this year, which is very bad because they only play 162 games in baseball. So yeah, we'll see with that. But the big interesting thing will be Garrett Crochet and the rest of the starting pitching for the White Sox, because they pretty much went and got a bunch of journeymen and they traded for a bunch of rookies, not rookies, but just like younger arms and some like arms that are like reclamation projects. So it'll be interesting to see if the Sox could squeeze whatever amount of innings out of their starting pitching, because, man, they just put some guys. They just went and got some guys and was like, hey, go out there. Let's see what you can do. We're not going to be good this year, and we don't mind, not spending a ton of money and having some pitchers go out there and throw, 100 innings each if they can. But it was kind of weird that they would take Michael Kopech out the starting rotation, because you're going to suck this year anyway. You might as well let him, suck and do it as well. But they were like, oh, the bullpen will be taxed. But I feel like the bullpen going to be taxed with Garrett Crochet, which is a common prevailing opinion. It's not like that opinion is nothing new. So we'll see. This is Chris Getz' first year to prove that he knows what he's doing. And I think he'll have at least 3 or 4 more years. Like, the White Sox don't just fire people, even if they're like the most incompetent people ever. So Chris Getz is handpicked. He'll be around for a while. My predictions for today, Justin Steele versus Nathan Eovaldi. The Cubs kind of hit right-handers decently well. I feel like they hit left-handers better last year, so I don't know. I see the Rangers probably winning 5-3. The Cubs bullpen is still being settled. It's not that I want the Rangers to win. It's just that, those guys are World Series champs. They got a lot of crazy offense. But I don't think offense will rule the day today as far as in that game. I think we'll have a low-scoring affair. But I could be wrong, But Justin Steele, I think, will hold them at bay for 4 or 5 innings. But I'm not very astute on the Texas Rangers versus left-handed pitching. So we'll have to see, because I know Marcus Semien is a problem. Garcia is a problem. And Justin Steele is going to be facing all these like really good power hitting right-handers. So he's lefty. But the crazy thing about him is he has like the splits where he really does cause right-handers problems. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Um, and then as far as like general MLB opening day stuff, I think that it's going to be an interesting season because of the Otani stuff, right? Like, there's a few things going on in LA that may be like attention grabbers, right? Like, you got a guy in Yamamoto who's a few $100 million player, hadn't pitched ever, and he's been like getting like blew up in spring training, already got fucking whacked around versus the Padres for that game they played over in Korea. So that's gonna be interesting, man. The Dodgers, I think, spent like 275 million for 10 years for this guy. So imagine if he's just not good. Like, that will be crazy. I mean, the Dodgers are rich as fuck, so they can afford to give him, hey, here's 20 million. Like, don't play anymore. Go away, please. The Dodgers can actually do that. They're paying Otani basically enough money to pitch and hit this year, but he's not even pitching. So they obviously have the money to, make that happen. But I think the other thing to watch for with the Dodgers will be the whole Shohei Otani gambling kind of controversy, right? Like, I don't believe he gambled, but there is like some belief that he did. So let's see what the feds can prove. It's not about what you did; it's about what they can prove. And I don't think, like, again, I don't think he did it. But even if he didn't do it, and they somehow, like, the evidence looks like he did, they're gonna prove that he did. So there's that. Um, Even though baseball could probably not use a scandal, right? And I'm pretty sure they don't want this scandal to kind of like disrupt their situation, but I feel like it's going to be a problem for them. Yeah, so that'll be something to watch for. And also, the Dodgers are going to try Mookie Betts at shortstop this year, which, like, if anybody know anything about baseball, Mookie Betts is probably one of the most explosive hitting. Like, as far as hitting, I mean, he's very talented as far as everything goes, but as far as hitting, Mookie Betts is on another level with the size of the man that he is, to be like 5'9", 5'10", 175. Guy can hit like 40 home runs and 100 RBIs and still hit over 300. So it'll be interesting to see how much strength and how, because they say you wear down playing certain positions, shortstop, center field. Like, the season will wear you down. I mean, we witnessed Cody Bellinger kind of like lose his legs as the season went along last year. I mean, he started out hitting for a lot of power with the Cubs, and he was playing short. I mean, he was playing center field a bunch, and the Cubs wanted to kind of get him out of that and get him at first. But by the time they, the idiot manager David Ross had him at first base, guy had already like lost his legs. He just kind of like was a singles hitter by the time the season ended, and that was because his legs were kind of not under him after playing spectacular defenses in the field. Like that, like, leave no doubt about it. Cody Bellinger is a great center fielder defensively, but you want to keep him off his feet as much as possible. And so that will be the question with Mookie Betts. Like, that's what I'm bringing this all back to, is like, will Mookie Betts be on his feet too much? Will Mookie Betts be like having to think too much about the position of shortstop and not making errors and stuff like that? And will that affect his batting? That'll be an interesting thing to watch as LA season goes forward. But yeah, I think it's an arms race, right? The Dodgers and the Braves look like the two best teams in the NL. The Rangers and the Astros, to me, look like the two best teams in the AL. But the Orioles, the Yankees are, kind of vying for that other position. And as far as in the NL, I mean, I'm Cubs biased, so I feel like the Cubs have a chance, but the way they moved this offseason, I think they kind of sealed their fate. Arizona is probably looking to return to the World Series, even though they was a surprise team last year. They went and got some pitching, and I mean, they went and got one of the better. They went and got Jordan Montgomery just a few days ago. So that's to add to the pitching staff they already went to the World Series with, and that one dude, P Fat. I know his name is Fat or Fadat or whatever the fuck, but to me that shit looked like P Fat. Like that's what I'm calling. I'm calling food P Fat. That's that. I ain't calling no grown man baby fat. I'm calling him P Fat. You know what I'm saying? Padaft or some shit. That name is weird as fuck. But anyway, they have pitching over there in Arizona, and they have young pitching and they have young hitting. So I can't see them not competing again this year. So, they'll be up there competing with like the Dodgers and the Braves and maybe the Phillies to some lesser extent. And the Cubs probably will be in that discussion. The NL Central is pretty up for grabs. So yeah, this is exciting though, man. Like opening day, baseball. I'm gonna be here all season. I'm gonna be after the game. The Cubs play at 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern. I'm gonna also be here to kind of discuss the Fighting Illini. I didn't really want to squeeze that in, just because I didn't want to like throw too much into this first live or whatever. But yeah, we thugging it out. You see the blue acting screen behind me. I'm doing multiple lives. I'm doing Big O Live and YouTube Live at the same time. Having my morning coffee. It's 10 a.m. on the West Coast. I mean, on the East Coast. I am super excited about the Cubs playing today and MLB opening day. The White Sox play at 4 p.m. I don't know if that's Eastern or, Central Division Standard Time. I don't know. But I know that they play this afternoon, and then the Cubs play subsequently, and then the Fighting Illini play after that. So if you're a Illinois-based person, Chicago-based person, today is a day to just start getting drunk at 4 o'clock and probably not ending until about midnight. It's a full 8-hour shift and probably calling off work for Friday. But I am on a fitness journey, so fake muscles or whatever. So I'm not drinking like that. I may have some wine tonight, some sangria, something like that. I hope y'all be safe out there. I hope y'all have a good time today. And I will be back later with my other predictions and, discussions. Have a good day. Thank y'all. Thank you for joining Sports Shorts and Passports. Bye.